3 movies in, and I have to say this is probably one of the best trilogies ever made. Am I right or am I wrong? Let's get into the review. What is up, everyone? My name is Zach. If you're new to this channel, here you are. I'm bringing you guys my review for War for the Planet of the Apes. Certainly, this is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, due to the fact that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was such a surprise, and so is Rise. When I heard they were remaking these, I was kind of like, eh. When I grew up, I did like the original Charlton Heston one. I didn't really like any of the sequels after that, but I was very excited to see what happened. I mean, it came off the Tim Burton, Mark Wahlberg one. It was just very disappointing. Rise comes out and surprises a lot of people, and then Dawn comes out and it's even fucking more amazing, in my opinion. And now we have War, the one that's going to cut off the rest of the trilogy and finish it off with Caesar's story. How's this movie? I have to say this. War for the Planet of the Apes is one of the most riveting films I've seen in a very long time. It's one of the most emotional, heart-beating movies I've ever seen. And it's also really fucking good. Don't get me wrong, I do have some minor issues in the film, but we will get to those. I do want to just go over the pros really fast. Pros for this movie is, of course, Andy Serkis' phenomenal Caesar. When has he not been? Will this get him an Oscar? No. I still think his best performance as Caesar was probably in Dawn, but don't get me wrong, War, he was fantastic in. And this movie really is, I have to give a really side note to it really fast, is that War for the Planet of the Apes isn't the big action film that they were marketing. That might be a problem for some people, and I didn't have a problem with that. The pacing for this movie is very slowly paced, but it still feels like a war film. It shows the brutality of what war is, but it doesn't have the big action set pieces you would find in a war film, which for me, I did not have an issue with, but I think some people might, so I do want to get that out of the way really fast. I don't want to get into what I mean by brutality of war, because when you see the film, you'll understand what I'm saying, and when you say it, you'll be like, that's actually a clever way for why you're calling it war. But for me, like I said, Andy Serkis, phenomenal in here, and when he shows the brutality and how Caesar has to go through these brutalities with war, it's very intense and very nice to see, and it just shows the emotion that Caesar has and all the wearing he's had on his character. Then a newcomer, Steven Zahn, is also in here. If you guys remember the actor, he's phenomenal in a lot of things. He actually plays one of the apes in here, and he plays a Bad Ape. When Bad Ape showed up, I was like, oh, this is going to turn into a Jar Jar Binks. And it actually doesn't. I think Bad Ape was phenomenally placed in here in such a great way, where his comedic efforts weren't so childish, but they were there to keep the comedic tone, and it was so perfectly placed into the dramatic tone as well that it didn't feel cheesy or over the top. It felt perfectly placed in there, and I thought Bad Ape was a great addition, and I thought Steve Zahn did a fantastic job playing Bad Ape. I don't know if he was actually in there for the motion capture or if he just did the voice, but however they put it, I think Bad Ape was a great addition to the characters. Of course, these movies always have human characters, and that's Woody Harrelson's character, the Colonel. This is my one problem with the movie, and this is probably going to be a major issue for some people, is I like what Woody Harrelson did with the character, but I feel like within the other movies, we got more character context with the humans, and for this one, I didn't really feel like we got much with the Colonel. Yes, we do get some backstory to him and what his motivations are, but I never felt connected. I never felt and really gave a shit. I was just like, kill him. Just get rid of him. And for me, I didn't think there was even enough of him. Really, it's an ape-centric movie, and I'm fine with that. This is something what the Transformers should do. Show more Transformers, less humans, and that's what I'm fine with the movie. But with the other movies giving me so much context within the humans and making me care about the humans, it never really gave me much for the Colonel, and I think that's just a minor issue for such a really great movie that I just have to put that out there. This movie overall, it's very riveting, it's very emotional. Like I said earlier, the pacing is very slow compared to the other films in my opinion. It's not the action movie a lot of people were really looking forward to like we got from the trailers, but that's not a problem. And I also want to give a shout out to the girl who plays Nova in here. Yes, Nova. If you've seen the original Planet of the Apes, you know who that is. The little girl in here, really this year has shown a lot of great young actors and actresses' performances, and she adds to it. I think she gave really great weight and emotion to some of her scenes, and she was a very great addition just to play around with the apes. It was really cool. I can't not talk about the CGI. I think the CGI in here is so perfected. At first, when it was far away glimpses of the monkeys, I was a little iffy. It kind of just looked the same as Dawn, but when you get those wide angles and those really up-close shots with the monkeys right to their face, they look so realistic. I'm just floored by how they even did it. I mean, Jungle Book looked really realistic, But this movie and all the other ape movies, I think this is the best out of anything. This is some of the best CGI I've ever seen. Like, it literally looks like you can see the emotion in the monkey's face, and it's insane to see. I remember in the first one, the monkeys looked a little creepy, but I think each movie they've gotten better and better, and this one is perfectly the best one out of all of them. One of the last things I really want to highlight in this film is Michael Giacchino's score. I've never been a huge fan of him. I think he has come up with some great scores, but for me, this is probably one of his best scores of all time. Yes, you've probably heard that all over Twitter and other reviews and stuff, but I'm meaning it. When you see this film, as I was watching it, the score hit me in such emotional ways and went so well with the movie that it was just phenomenal to see, and it added a lot of gravitas to the movie itself, and I really enjoyed that, because usually scores are hit or miss for me. I recognize them, but I never really remember them, or there's the ones that I really remember. This is one of the ones that I'm really going to remember, and I might actually buy it because it was really riveting to hear. For me, War for the Planet of the Apes is probably the best in the whole trilogy. It adds and ends such a great ending to the whole story itself. From 1 to 2 to 3, I think this is one of the best trilogies of all time now that you can add. I think it's better than the originals, and I think it adds just so much depth to the world itself of the Planet of the Apes. The score is phenomenal, the performances in her fantastic, the CGI is incredible, and when the action does hit, it hits, and it's good. I still think Dawn had some of the better action sequences throughout the series. Don't get me wrong, War does have some good action scenes, but it's more of a thrilling movie than it is an action movie, just like Dawn was. I thought Dawn had a lot more better action set pieces than War did, but that's no problem because the brutality of War is still there for this movie, and that was some of the best aspects of the film. The Planet of the Apes actually surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it much as Dawn because I really like Dawn, but for me, I'm gonna give War for the Planet of the Apes an A-. What did you guys think of War for the Planet of the Apes? Comment down below and let me know. Look out for this weekend. I am going to be doing a ranking video of all the Planet of the Apes remakes, so we'll get to see there. I'm going to try and see War one more time before I do that ranking video and get that out for you guys, just to make sure I know where I'm at. Also, I do want to give my viewers something special. I'm doing, next week, Dunkirk and Valerian both come out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to my 2 early screenings of both of those, so I do want to say this. That Thursday night, I'm going to pick either Valerian or Dunkirk. I want you guys to comment down below and add in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day, and look out for the Q&A as well. That'll be coming out soon. And as always, guys, look out for more.